Azalea Hart from iHeartRadio Canada. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
This film was so intense. I felt like your performance was so raw and real that it
Thanks.
transferred through the screen and just sat on my chest.
It's quite intense, the movie, I know. It's a real experience.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I imagine that it was just so emotionally demanding for you as an actor. How do you prepare for a role like this, and how do you unwind at the end of the day?
Just drugs and alcohol at the end of the day. No, we had a great rehearsal period, Mary and I. We got to it was sort of like preparing for a play. We got to sit and just talk for over a month and went through every line of dialogue and every exclamation point and full stop. And really, we just talked and were really candid and shared stories from being mothers. And it's a very personal story to Mary Bronstein, the writer-director, which she's spoken about, an experience she had with her daughter. So without that process, I definitely would have felt more in the deep end. But because we'd had all the great heavy conversations, and when we got to set, it was just like a freight train, because it's an independent film. It wasn't many days or a big budget, so the adrenaline kicked in and we just jumped off the deep end. But at the end, I did feel pretty bereft and sad and crashing from the experience for sure.
So what did you do to kind of lift your spirits?
I have two small kids who are 7 and 9, and at that time were 6 and 8. They couldn't care. They're the ones who are immediately this demanding in a way that you have to. You just have to move forward. So it's been an emotional experience showing it to people. I feel protective of the film and the performance, but I also trust audiences to have their experience with it now.
And speaking of Mary, just having a female director, and she also wrote it.
Yeah.
How did that kind of work into, additionally from what you said, you just were talking through it, but what else did she do to kind of help you into this role?
I mean, I can't imagine doing this with anyone other than Mary. But to your point, it's been great to have this direct conversation, female woman to woman. We're the same age. We grew up in the same, 90s and early 2000s. We have so much in common, and we hit it off. She's now a really good friend, and so, you know, to her, she's such a true feminist, Mary, in a way that is far more sophisticated than I am. She's, and she was just my touchstone for the whole performance and the whole experience.
Another thing I really enjoyed in it was that you're a therapist that
Yes.
went to therapy, and you're in therapy, but then you're helping another mother. How does that translate to show that even the helpers need help?
It's sort of a little peek behind the curtain of therapy, which you've seen in therapy show. This has been dramatized before, obviously, but the script had such a beautiful symmetry to it. I think if you kind of examine the story, and there's a beautiful symmetry to what's happening in front of Linda and what's happening to Linda, and she can't see anything. She's just drowning. So I felt that the therapy was a part of that too. And my scenes with Conan were very, intense and dramatic. And he was such a great scene partner. He was so game,
And with the two of you kind of just being so funny in normal life and then in other comedies, to be in a movie like this that's very serious with the subject matter that, maybe not a lot of people have experienced, but you're kind of bringing them into this story and into this world. How did the two of you work off of each other?
He was so game. Conan was out of his comfort zone, absolutely. But his show that he had for many years that we love, everybody loves, like that, I realized was a performance. And it's not really him, it's parts of him, I'm sure. But having even spent the little time I did with him, I was like, oh, that's a performance. That is not him.
So he's not funny.
Yeah. Well, that is true. He is hysterical. He is just such a shining intelligence that comes through. And he really trusted Mary, that she knew his quality, the sort of good faith people have naturally in Conan, is going to serve this story so well and serve that character so well. Because the character is very insufficient as a therapist. They're at the end of their client, their patient therapist, relationship. So it's really this ugly kind of bitter ending to this.
Right.
And also, we both love dark humor, so we were finding all the fine little nuanced comedic moments, and he was so brilliant at picking those up. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, those moments were great because for the most of it, I was like,
Lets out the tension. Yeah, I know. You've got to keep the audience with you. So Mary was just let the gas out a little bit, and you have the relief of the comedy, whether it's those sequences, or the sequence with the hamster, or the sequence with ASAP Rocky. There's some really funny bits in those.
And with ASAP Rocky, it was just great to see him in a role like this as well, because,
Yeah.
we mostly know him from music. Do you have any fun stories off camera? Or
I mean, he's just so, like his charm is supernatural, and that character is goodwill. That character has curiosity. That character is looking around him, whereas everyone else is just sort of there's suffocation, and he is sort of free, and that is a hard thing to. You can't really play that, but his innate sort of charisma and joyfulness in his spirit is almost childlike. I think Mary knew, she was like, that's the perfect part, the perfect gentleman to play this part. And he was so open and fun and funny. He always looked so chic when he would come to set, and I'd be like, "Where's your sweater from?" And he'd be like, "Celine." And I'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Oh yeah, he's a fashion guy.
I know. He's like tells a story with his clothes. He's such a he's so sophisticated like that.
Thank you so much. This was
Thank
awesome. I
you.
look forward to watching it again, and
Thank
hopefully
you.
everyone else enjoys it.
Thanks for the support.